Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranams. I'm here in the greenhouse of Sri Radha Kunj where we have many beautiful Tulasi plants. So one of our viewers was asking us about to speak a little bit about the glories of Tulasi Devi and her significance. So I'll just jump right in. Tulasi Devi is actually, she is very mercifully manifested as this Tulasi plant, but we should understand, according to our Vaishnava scriptures and Vedic scriptures, she is the manifestation of the internal potency of that absolute truth, Sri Krishna. It's called the Swarup Shakti, or in her manifestation as Yoga Maya or Brinda. Brinda is a special goddess in that spiritual world of Goloka Brindavan, and her role is facilitating and arranging the very sweet meetings of Sri Radha and Sri Krishna in the forest of Brindavan. The name Brindavan means that forest of Brinda Devi. So Brinda Devi is one of the dear friends of Srimati Radhika. Later on, Brinda Devi, she is such a dear friend of Srimati Radhika, Srimati Radhika herself is the Paradevi. She is the divine potency, the highest manifestation of the absolute truth in its feminine feature. That is Srimati Radhika. She is the Swarup Shakti, that ultimate, all-powerful deity of the Lord's divine energy. So in Tattva you have the Supreme Purush and the Supreme Prakriti, the Supreme Absolute Truth in the divine moieties, or its two halves in its feature as Sri Krishna and Srimati Radhika. And Srimati Radhika, she expands in many forms of Devis or divine goddesses, just like Krishna expands in many forms of Vishnu Tattva, or God expands in many forms. So Srimati Radhika, one of her expansions of her own divine limbs or forms is called Brinda. And Brinda in Braj is present as one of her very close Sakhis, or very close friends. She's a little bit older, and she's also like the proprietor. She looks after everything. She's the caretaker, the guardian. So her Vrindavan is named after her, Brindavan. Van is forest. And in Vrindavan, you also see the speciality of Tulasi. Tulasi is this plant here, Tulasi Devi, and it's one of the forms of Brinda. Brinda is present in a human-like form, and then she expands in this plant form because it's there's very sweet and special pastimes in relation to that, but it's one of her eternal features. And actually, in that form, she's very, very dear to the Lord, Sri Krishna. It's described that Krishna appears in the form in this world in the form of Shalagram, which is that special Shila, or special kind of Shila that is worshipped as the Lord. And there's many pastimes in relation to this. Actually, they occur in this time of Vaishak Mas. We're in this month of Vaishak, which is also known as Keshav Brat. That month of Vaishak is when you worship Shalagram and Tulasi together. Actually, in this month, there's also the marriage of Tulasi and Shalagram. Originally, actually, Vrinda appeared in this world as Tulasi, as a goddess also, as like a princess. And later on, she became Tulasi, the plant. And Krishna was in one of his appearances as Vishnu, one of the incarnations of Vishnu, and he became the Shalagram, and then they were present in their divine matrimony. Ultimately, they are inseparable. Shakti, Shakti Matora Beda. The divine potent and the potency are always inseparable. It's described like fire, heat, and light. You cannot separate heat and light from fire. So the fire is the Krishna principle, the heat and light is the Shakti principle, the feminine side of the absolute truth. So Shalagram and Tulsi. Shalagram represents the whole universe is residing in Shalagram in a microcosmic manner, in its form like that. And he says that Krishna said, in this month of Vaishak, you should worship me by every day offering me Tulasi leaves with chandan, sandal paste. And the whole day, actually, what we're doing in this month of Keshav is we worship Shalagram and Giriraj, offer them Tulasi Chandan, bathe them, give Panchamrita Abhishek. And then the whole day there's a drip of water coming from pots. You make a small hole in a clay pot, then you put a straw in it, and then you allow one drop of water coming down. In this way it keeps Shalagram cool and bathed throughout the whole day. And then nighttime and the evening, you dress the Lord, you take him out, you dress him, you offer him kheer, sweet rice, And in this way, the whole month is actually celebrating the Tulasi Devi plant and shalagram. So these are actually one manifestation of the Lord and his beloved consort or potency. So it's one important thing to remember. We shouldn't think these things are material or mundane. They have transcendent divine consciousness within them. Actually, everything in this world has some particle of spirituality or chaitanya consciousness in it. And the Tulasi plant, she is also that divine consciousness. Now, she has many unique properties. We know that that house in which Tulsi is present, that house is very auspicious. Therefore, devotees around the world keep Tulasi in their house. And there's many ways of caring for her, how to properly care for her soil, how to keep her free of, different things like aphids and bugs. And, there's many, that's a whole science in itself, a whole art in itself, how to care for Tulasi properly. But it's important for us to understand sort of the metaphysical element also, that where is she coming from, what is her nature, how to honor and worship her. Like I mentioned before, Vrindavan, the forest of Vrindavan, it means that place where many devotees are present. Bhakta Vrinda, Vrinda means a group of many associates of the Lord and his own divine pastimes. And then also Tulsi means where Tulsi is present in Vrindavan. We see, like, for example, different devotees. They worship, we all wear Tulasi neck beads. This is described to offer the body to God. It's a way of offering oneself. So actually in scripture, in the Vedic scriptures, Krishna, the Supreme Lord, says that I will not accept any offering to me unless it is offered with Tulasi. So that's why Tulasi plant is very important. It's a way of purifying and sanctifying the offering so that it is fit to offer to the Lord. So even our own bodies, we offer our body to Krishna. We sing, Madhava he bahuta minati koritai, de tulasitiya deha samarpino. I offer this body to you with Tulasi. Even Advaita Acharya, he would pray to the Lord to come by offering him Tulasi, and then in this way he invoked the Lord. So in our own life, we chant our mantras on Tulasi beads. It is our way of connecting to Sri Krishna. Tulasi is described to be one of the manifestations of Yoga Maya. So how do we connect to Yoga Maya? Yoga Maya is that connecting principle that connects the soul with God. And so Tulasi is her feature. She appears in this world in this form as a plant so that we can connect ourselves, offer ourselves to God with Tulasi. So we wear it on our neck, so that, and our head, which is the Brahmatal, which is like shalagram. You can say that the neck beads, they're one way of connecting the head, which is like the egg shape or the causal Brahmanda, or the dwelling place of the Brahmatal, the consciousness itself. And it's a way to connect that to offering that head or that manda to the Supreme Lord himself with Tulasi. We chant on our beads with Tulasi, on Tulasi beads. Any type of food we prepare, we offer with Tulasi leaves. So she has a great speciality in the Vaishnav Dharma. Throughout all of India, any kind of Vaishnavas, not even Vaishnavas, Mayavadis or other schools, any kind of Vedic schools there are in India, they all honor and revere and respect Tulasi Devi, the Tulasi plant. So there's so many interesting stories about Tulasi, so many glories about Tulasi, how she came in this world. Ultimately, she is a transcendental entity, just like Giriraj Govardhan. They appear in one form to help us in this world. Actually, she's very merciful. Krishna appears with his potencies in certain forms in this world so that we can maintain relation with them even when we are in material consciousness. Like we cannot directly see Krishna, so he gives us his deity form. By worshipping the deity form, we can make relation with him. So similarly, Tulsi, if the divine spirit is always far removed from our mundane senses, how do we make connection with him? So Tulsi is very merciful. She gives us a chance to have a relation with her by serving her, taking care of her, and then we can purify ourselves and make, that way we can transcend ultimately. So Shalagram, Tulasi, Giriraj, Jamuna, Ganga, they're all Brahma Dravadram. They're all that transcendent entity in different features. Because ultimately in the Gayatri explanations by Jiva Goswami, it's described they're all Vyakritis, transcendental energies of the Lord manifesting in the material realm. But we should not think of them as mundane. They are supremely worshipful. Certain things are like the epicenters of this spiritual energy. And the Tulasi plant is one of the most important ones of those. Vaishnavas even say, take Tulasi, the remnants of the Tulasi after they've been offered to the Lord, mixed with Chandan, then they give you so much health as well. So there's so many glories of Tulasi. Now it's Gaur Arti, I need to go. But I hope that was a nice little preview into the glories of Tulasi. Hare Krishna.